the night for gold.
Really has been just a fantastic day of wrestling. Got to see our women's wrestlers in the semis and then their qualification rounds. And we'll be crowning a title tomorrow for the men.
What's been your biggest takeaway so far from the men's freestyle competition? Here we are. We're down to the nitty-gritty, the remaining 3 weights. This one tonight at 92, and then we'll close out tomorrow at both 70 and 97.
I mean, it's an easy thing. Iran has I'm a social media guy, and you see a lot of social media about what is happening with Iran. They were such a world power for so many years. And in the last several years, they put together some cadet and junior teams that are phenomenal. And you can see that their work has paid off. Even at the Olympic Games, they didn't have the tournament that they wanted, but they came here ready to go. So first passivity warning on the board. What about you? What's been your takeaway thus far, Sean?
Yeah, you know, I would look back and it kind of ties into what you described with Iran. I think this was a much-needed world championship for that country, and in particular at 86 kilos, I think a rivalry was really started again with, you know, David Taylor 3-0 against Yazdani. Yazdani gets the win. You know, you need to get some wins on both sides to really make it the epic clash that fans want it to build up to, and I think that falls into that realm right now. We'll see a similar story tomorrow night with Snyder and Sadulayev. It is a time right now for the American Snyder where he needs a win to keep people talking about that historic matchup, and a great one that it has always been. So you're seeing the rivalries, and I think one more follow-up to that would be the respect I have for all the Olympic medalists, all the Olympic wrestlers for coming back and representing their country in a short turnaround at these world championships. Guys like David Taylor, who won an Olympic gold, wanted to come back and win a world title. Nothing but respect for those line of guys, and we've highlighted them throughout. We're going to highlight the women here in the next couple of days. I think that's a high character move and one that I really respect.
Totally agree with you, and they have a lot to lose. You know, they could have very easily rested on their laurels, gone home with their big yellow medal from the Olympics, but instead they said, I want to compete for my country. So totally agree with you. It's big for our sport. And talking about those two rivalries, that gets the world talking about this, I'm biased, but the greatest sport in the world. When you have rivalries between countries, and you know, we could talk about government all day long, but this sports diplomacy where you see these wrestlers competing against each other, and it makes our world better. It makes our sport better when you have those rivalries.
1-0 lead for Azerbaijan. First period will come to an end. Nurmagomedov, the U23 silver medalist, had a good tournament in Warsaw as well. Azerbaijan had a couple of their competitors move into the medal round in the European Championships, and Nurmagomedov was one of them. He finished with a bronze medal, so he's building some momentum. Clearly one guy that they lean on heavily as far as their fixture and their freestyle room.
A lot of Magomedovs and Magomedou, and that name is synonymous with great wrestlers through the southern Russia region and into Belarus and into Azerbaijan. Have those roots in the Caucasus Mountains and in the Chechnya and Dagestan area of Russia.
Let's see how Nurmagomedov runs it with the lead here, up 1-0, the passivity point. He's going to try to do enough to stay off the clock himself, especially early on in the second period. Looks like he is doing enough as the first verbal warning, the action warning given to Belarus, who's already been on the clock once. And here it comes again, so a chance to add to that lead.
That just means that they really are impressed with Nurmagomedov's pace, but he's continuing to get passivity warnings against Mahmedov. I like that camouflage singlet of Azerbaijan there. Years ago, they allowed singlets to have a little bit more character to them as long as the bottom part of the singlet has the red or the blue on it. So you can have some green on it now, and you can have a flag on it if you wish, as long as there's a line in the back and a line at the legs that have the blue or the red. But right now, Mahmedov of Belarus hasn't had much of a showing of any offensive prowess here. He's going to need to take off on an attack to win this match. It's not just going to come easily because Nurmagomedov isn't making any mistakes.
Here in Oslo, Norway hosting the World Championships for the second time. You go back to 1985. That was the first time and only time they have been the host city for the world's greatest wrestlers. Here in 2021. A lot of uncertainty, too, even as recent as the spring and summer with the lockdowns in place. A lot of the European countries, pretty much everybody in the world decimated by the pandemic. So they weren't sure if this was going to take place, but they made the decision to pull forward, and everything has went off very well so far through the first 3 days.
It has people, the folks that they have working here are very proud of their Nordic and their wrestling heritage here. I watched some old videos of the 1985 and it looked like it was in a high school gym.
Yeah,
now we're in this beautiful arena. UWW has done great things to really showcase athletes and make this a festive, festival event.
Not a lot of offense in this one, but that's all right if you're Azerbaijan. Nurmagomedov, just like he did in Warsaw a few months ago, he is going to bring home the bronze. A 2-0 win, respect with Belarus and Azerbaijan. You saw the sportsmanship from Nurmagomedov. Tough guy to score on. That's always been his MO.